Okay, Chem Gang, quick lesson on using your calculator to do logarithms and inverse logarithms for pH work. So if you've been having trouble with your calculator, you first need to know that different calculators do this different ways. I'm going to demonstrate for the TI type calculators, 83, 84 type calculators, in which case you press the function button, either the log or the 10 to the x button first, and then enter the number. There are some other calculators where you enter the number first and then press the button. The key is that you'll be able to test it out in your calculator and try different things until you figure out the right way to do it, because you'll know what the answers are. All right, so if you're trying to find pH, it means you need to take the logarithm of the hydrogen or hydronium ion concentration. So in this problem here, trying to find the pH, basically I'm just going to show you how to take the log of this number. And the first thing you should always remember is you should estimate it first. And the first thing you should look at is an exponent of -9 means that it's going to be close to -9. But it's not exactly -9 because it's not exactly 1 times 10 to the negative 9th. Right? The next thing that's good to do is determine whether it's going to be a little bit higher than or lower than -9. And you just have to have your number sense there. This number is bigger than 10 to the -9th, but it's smaller than 10 to the -8th. So it's between 10 to the -9 and 10 to the -8, which means the answer will actually be between -9 and -8. Right? For doing it on the calculator, again, on the TI, what you're going to do is you're going to press the log button. I'll do it later, but there's your log button right there on the calculator. And then you enter the number. And just remember how to enter a number in scientific notation. I'm not going to really review that, but it's spelled out right here using the EE button. And so let me actually do it on the calculator here. We'll turn it on and we'll clear everything. I don't know how well you can see. Whoops, I didn't zoom, so I know you can't see well at all. So that's as far as I can zoom. But I'm just going to hit the log button first, and then it already puts the parentheses for me, so I'm going to enter the number 4.1. And again, it's an exponential, so I do the second EE, which means times 10 to the, and my exponent is -9, so I put negate 9. And you don't have to close the parentheses, it's a waste of time. You just press enter, and it gives me -8.387. Right? Don't worry about sig figs with logs. That's more digits than you need here, but we're not going to go over the rule. Right? So that's finding the logarithm on your calculator. Right? The other thing you have to do is the inverse. So if you know the if you know the pH as you do here, what is the H plus concentration? And if this is an integer, it's no problem. If this was 6, the answer would be 1 times 10 to the -6 molar. All right, whoops, sorry you can't see that. I will go back to it. Yeah, here's our question. So we know the pH is 6.2, and you want to know the hydrogen ion concentration, or hydronium. Right? And so if this was an exact pH of 6, it would be 1 times 10 to the -6 molar. So the answer should be close to that, but you have to put it in proper form. And what we're really looking for as an answer is over here. It's 10 raised to the -6.2 power. But again, that's not a proper notation. So what you're going to do is you're going to use what's usually called the 10 to the x key on your calculator. There are many ways to do this calculation. Again, you need to find a way that you can do it properly on your calculator and check your answers to make sure they are correct. But the TIs have a function that's the inverse of the log key. So if you look at your log key, the second function is called 10 to the x. So that's the most efficient way to do this calculation. So that's the way we're going to do it here. And again, these are the keystrokes that I'm going to press. So let me zoom in on the calculator here. All right. So I'm going to hit the second function and then the log key, which is actually 10 to the x. And that says it's going to be 10 raised to some power, and it already puts the parentheses in. Probably the most important thing here is don't forget to take the opposite of your pH. My pH was 6.2, but I have to put -6.2, right? Because the pH is the opposite of the logarithm or exponent, which means you have to undo that when you're going the other way. All right? So now all I have to do is press enter. Again, no need to close parentheses, and it tells me it is 6.31 times 10 to the -7th. Okay? And again, we knew it would be something close to 10 to the -6th, and 6.3 times 10 to the -7th is indeed close to that. Oops. So, whoops. There we go. Back out. So now you can see everything. That's it. Again, you kind of have to figure things out in your calculator. I probably can't help you from afar on that if you have a different type of calculator. But my suggestion is to do simple ones with integral numbers to make sure you get the right number, and then you can use other examples you find in your iBook or that you saw in this video to make sure that you can press the keys and get the correct answer. As always, if you do have questions, email me, put them on the form, attach them to the assignment, and I'll be there. So hope you have a good time with this one. Bye-bye.